Greetings. Yeah, how's everybody doing this evening? I hope you all are doing well. Habari Ghani.
Barigani.
What is the
Sorry,
news,
Gani.
y'all? What is the principle of the night?
Ooh, I won't
What
see.
is it?
Ujima.
Yes, right. It's all about collective works and responsibility tonight. And collectively, we are coming together for a wonderful program. I am Star Armstrong, the founder and executive director of Clever Communities in Action. We are a Norfolk based nonprofit that promotes literacy in Black youth. And so we are excited to be here with you all this evening and to be partnering with the Reginald F. Lewis Museum. We have some intergenerational conversation and celebration that's going to go down tonight. And I just know I'm excited because Kwanzaa is like my favorite time of the year. It's the culmination of all the wonderful Blackness that is happening throughout the year where we just come together and put it all together and celebrate it. So I hope y'all are ready to get it in tonight. It's Ujima, that's the word for the night. So we have for you guys is what the left, the right of me. I have Jameer here. Tell them a little bit about yourself, Jameer. Who are you? What are you up to?
I'm Jameer Starks. I'm a freshman legal communications major at the illustrious Howard University, and before I was Howard University freshman legal communications major. I was a Virtual Village 2020 influencer, and then I became a Clever Communities in Action fall season broadcast technician, and I'm currently the Clever Communities in Action uh, Tributary 2050 and Beyond show host, where we go on every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. EST. But right now, I'm just another virtual villager, happy to be on the show.
All right. And then last but not least, we have Miss Terry Taylor. So everybody, a lot of people tuned in already know who you are, but for those who don't know, tell us who you are, sis.
So I'm Terry Taylor with the Reginald F. Lewis Museum, and I'm so glad to be here today. We usually have a Kwanzaa celebration every year, and with the pandemic, we had to do things a little bit different this year. And so we are glad to be able to still continue the tradition of celebrating Kwanzaa, but virtually this year. And so we thought it would be great to invite community partners to celebrate Kwanzaa with the museum. And we wanted to invite those communities who celebrate or practice Kwanzaa as a part of their mission. And so when I met Star, I was like, who better than to invite her and her crew to do Kwanzaa together? So I'm happy that we are all together today. And I want to just turn it back over to you, Ms. Star.
I just want to reiterate what you said in my Prince Akeem voice. I'm very happy to be here. It is a wonderful occasion anytime that we are able to get together. And, to you, Terry, I met you with the African American Children's Book Fair that you all do there every year. And you do a wonderful job. And so I had the pleasure of experiencing that for the first time last year. And it was great. I'll say it was magical in so many ways. So what you all are doing is so important. And like you said, it was only right for us to partner together to do this.
Yeah.
Here's to many, many more. But look, y'all, Miss
Yes.
Terry already told us she just wanted to say hi, show some love, and get on out of here. So we don't want to hold you up. I understand, but we are so glad that you are here again and that we have this partnership going on with you all. So happy Kwanzaa to you, sis. And we'll see you again later, all right?
Okay.
Be safe. Be safe.
Yes, so always wonderful to have her and her spirit here. And again, what they are doing at the museum is so important. If you guys have not visited the Reginald F. Lewis Museum, then you definitely need to make your way up there. And like Terry mentioned, we have been doing some hard pivots because of COVID-19, right? But yet I see the perseverance. I see the Nguzo Saba that we as a community have been practicing throughout this year of uncertainty and unprecedented things. Because of the COVID-19 virus. But nonetheless, we persevere. We are here celebrating Kwanzaa in the most creative ways, right? So listen, you guys know this is an all-Black production. So before we go on any further, we are going to have a word from our sponsors. And after that, we'll be back to get this celebration on. All right?
Right on.
Buying or selling a home doesn't have to be difficult. At the James Allen Group, we work tirelessly to get families into homes and to get our listings sold quickly at the best price. James Allen, our principal broker, has over 30 years of experience as a realtor. As a U.S. Navy veteran, his knowledge of Hampton Roads and its community is a vital tool in meeting the home buying needs of military families. If you're ready to buy or sell your home, contact the James Allen Group at 757-449-8322. Sign up today for our free home buyer or seller seminar at jamesallengroup.com.
Collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics going on right there. Holla at the Black realtors, y'all. Okay, for real. But anyway, look, we are here to talk about, we call this Nguzo Saba 365 days a year. So it is very important to me all the time throughout the year. We are always saying that we should be practicing these 7 principles of Kwanzaa all throughout the year. When we come together during this time, this is the time for us to reflect and project as to, how we use these principles and how we will use these principles in the upcoming year. So it's not about just coming together and saying some words, lighting some candles, and, doing festive things. It's about, reinforcing and looking back on and paying homage to during this time, right? So in Nguzo Saba 365 days, if y'all have not been practicing Kwanzaa all throughout the year, let's make sure that in 2021, we are doing these 7 principles all throughout the year. But look, Jameer, all right, so let's run down before we get into the reflection and the moving forward and everything. Let's give a brief rundown about what Kwanzaa is. There are still some people, you and I were talking about, who don't know exactly what Kwanzaa is. There are a lot of misconceptions. And some people actually still haven't heard of it, or they think that it has a religious connotation, or it takes away from Christmas or whatever. So how about you run down for everybody quickly, like, what is Kwanzaa? How did it get started? Why is it important? And how do we celebrate Kwanzaa?
Cool. So when it comes to what is Kwanzaa, we got to understand that it's a Swahili word, but it's an African American cultural holiday, which is why it has 2 A's at the end instead of 1. And Ms. Starr, could you tell us what Kwanzaa means?
That's your job. That is your job.
I
totally look. I'm an old lady. I forget things. You go ahead.
Okay, so I thought we was gonna bounce off each other, but we'll so okay. So Kwanzaa means first, and the reason why it means first in Swahili with just 1 A, but those 2 A's at the end means that it's rooted in African American culture. And it's an African American tradition which started in the 60s by Dr. Karenga, who wanted to, this was during the time of Black nationalism, who wanted to sort of solidify the sort of, ideals or principles, the Nguzo Saba, for Black people to strive towards in their daily lives to build Black unity.
Let's do a bounce right there. So we're bouncing off, right? So
okay.
Let's talk about Dr. Karenga real quickly, because there are some criticisms about Kwanzaa a lot of times, and it has to do with him and the controversy that surrounds him. But here's my thought process on anybody who feels that way. There are customs and traditions that we celebrate without any question that have nothing to do with our history and culture, and that do not affirm our history and culture, and we do not ask about those. We do not deny those. We do not walk away from those. And they have nothing to do with African American or African traditions at all. And we will do them religiously without question. So sometimes whatever you may feel about the messenger or the creator, for those who are caught up on that, then I think that what was created is something that is of value and something that does affirm us and that brings us together and gives us some guiding principles. Again, the Nguzo Saba 365 days a year. Because I've had these conversations, I've been in them where people get caught up about the creator of it. And I'm like, that's a personal thing right there. But like I said, tell me, what else are you celebrating? What other things do you do without walking away from those or without questioning those? So something that was created for us, and something that, again, has been, we're going to get into our own personal Kwanzaa experiences and ask you guys to share yours And so I think that the holiday has a lot of value to it. And then the other critique is it's a made up holiday. Well, again,
Everything is made up.
your Memorial Day cookouts, your Labor Day cookouts, your, like all holidays are President's Day sales that you go to, all these different things made up. They're all made up. So here's one that was made up specifically for us. So all right, I'm passing it back to you, Javier.
I got it. Oh, okay. That reminds me of the virtual Blue days. Yep. So Ms. Starr covered the critiques of Dr. Karinga, and it's one thing to critique the creator and the originator, and as you should, but when it comes to the meaning of the holiday itself, this is 7 days to reflect on Blackness in a way that isn't really given in the country. And like Ms. Starr said, and I fully agree with, is definitely something that should be pushed for and advocated, because I mean, when it comes to being a Black American, there aren't a lot of opportunities for us to actually express ourselves and actually reflect on our year in a way that is conducive to what we plan on doing the next year. So, and like we said, the word Kwanzaa is a Swahili one. And if you haven't noticed from the candles, like right below me, the colors revolving around it are reminiscent of other things relating to Black people. The red, black, and green. The Kanara right there by Miss Starr. So this is a very African-centric tradition with an African-American focus. And it was started in America for African Americans, but it soon branched out across the diaspora. I know in Jamaica, they started celebrating Kwanzaa in 1967. So as we can see that Kwanzaa is truly a holiday for African people around the world in order to sort of celebrate ourselves and our Blackness in a way that society doesn't tend to allow us. And the principles, the Nguzo Saba, which is Swahili for 7 principles, there they are. There we go. These are the Nguzo Saba. So on the first day of Kwanzaa, which is the day after Christmas, so it doesn't even step on Christmas's toes or anything, you can slot yourself right into it. You have Umoja, or unity. Oh man. So you have the day of unity, which is for you to reflect on yourself and how you not only been a unit and practice unity within your family, but also your community, as well as your nation and the Black race as a whole. And that's truly what Umoja is about. It's all of these Nguzo Saba, they're really about building ourselves from the individual family unit all the way up to an international unit. So that way we can express ourselves and more so be unified as we continue to move forward. And that is the first day. So we start off unified. And then on the second day, which is my favorite, you have, and this is a bit of, unity. You light your black candle right there in the middle. So as you can, I will show y'all mine, but my candles burn fast. So it's like 3/4 of a candle and everything else is like tall. So Miss Starr got good candles. Miss Starr got good candles. So we'll go with those. Then the second day is my personal favorite. You have Kuji Chagulia. My Swahili is a little bit rough, but trust me, next semester it'll be good. It'll be good. So this is self-determination, which is something that's truly encapsulated my whole year. So self-determination, or Kuji Chagulia, has been really big for me this year. And you'll learn a little bit about how that played out a little bit later. So make sure you stick around with us. Make sure more people bring some more people in, like, subscribe, and share, because we just talked about unity, and that's all we're trying to get into. So that is the second day. Is really about self-determination.
I'm gonna jump in real quick for the older heads, Black Star, or for our music lovers. They have a song, Knowledge Yourself, and Kuji Chakalia. Like that's a part of the song, and it's a really dope song because everything with that I relate it back to music. So it's, I also think about incorporating these playlists that are empowering and thinking about what we are, putting in our minds and our brains and exposing our children to. So definitely check out that album and get that song, add that to your holiday rotation and play that all the time. But I wanted to throw that in there, that knowledge of self, Kuji Chakalia. And as we're talking about running through these real quickly, each night you are lighting these candles. You are lighting the candle that corresponds with this and sitting with your family, your loved ones, the group of people who you are with, and you light the candle and you reflect on these principles. We talk about these principles and we do things with one another that that exemplify each one of these principles that we're talking about. And these are things that are bringing family together, that are bringing couples together, that are bringing mom, dad, and children, that are bringing again couples together, that are bringing young children, educating them about this, because we understand the importance of this cultural foundation. And it's fun. It's something to come together and do. People love rituals. People love to do things where they get to come together and move as move as a unit over and over again. So this is valuable. And again, it's a FUBU production for us, by us. All right, Jamir.
Absolutely. I got it right back from you. And pay attention to the symbols that are associated with these principles, because those are actual African symbols with extreme meaning. So not only do we have the Swahili language with Kuji Chakulia, but we also have the symbolism that even predates the language. So as we can see, this is really an intergenerational affair here. And if you know your history, then you have a better understanding of self, because all we are is just the summation of our lineage. So moving on, for the third day, which is today, Ms. Star.
All right. Today is Ujima, collective work and responsibility. So again, we are over here lighting the candles. That is what we would be doing as a family or with your loved ones, whoever you are with. And we are reflecting on, and we are going to come back to Ujima. So we're going to put a pin on that, because that's what we are talking about mostly tonight. But collective works and responsibility, and we know the value of us coming together. And we're going to talk about the ways in which we saw Black people come together collectively this year, as well as ways in which as families, as individuals, that we saw this apply in our communities or within our homes, okay? But we're definitely going to come back and unpack this, because Ujima played a big part in our communities this year, a big part. And there's so many ways that we want to acknowledge that. So we're going to keep running through the principles. So next, Jamir.
I got you. Already on it. We have Ujima, which is cooperative economics. And this right here is truly one of the bases of what Kwanzaa was about at the time, because this was during the Black nationalist era, during the 60s. So a lot of Black people realized that if we wanted to push forward as a unit in the country, we needed to be able to have buying power, hence cooperative economics. And Julius Nyerere in Tanzania, he also had his whole Ujima plan placed out. So as you can see, that this was a international Pan-African experience here. But for Black Americans, this means basically supporting Black-owned production, supporting Black-owned businesses. But not only do these businesses need to be Black-owned to meet the criteria, but they need to benefit their communities as well. Because it's one thing to be a Black-owned business, it's another thing to be a Black-owned businesses that's pouring into our communities. So that's truly what cooperative economics is about. We've seen it through time and time again, where we support a lot of these Black people, but then they don't really reciprocate it. So cooperative economics, or Ujima, is really about linking together and making sure that our dollar goes that extra mile with each other. So that right there is Ujima, which is tomorrow. Then as we move on in the day, we have Nia, which is purpose. A lot of people saw the movie Soul, which touched heavily on purpose, and Nia here represents that as well, but goes a little bit further into it by understanding not just what your self-purpose is, but also what do you want your purpose to be. So it's really about coming into your own, and it really fits in well, because when we talk about purpose, it's not just in the individualistic manner, but the collectivistic as well, which is why we started off with unity and understanding what is the purpose of not only yourself, your family, your community, your nation, and the race as a whole. So understanding what our purpose is to be as a complete, holistic, moving, Black affirming unit. That is Nia.
Then we can get it on some of that Nia. As a nonprofit founder, purpose is everything. And so as we move with this nonprofit organization, our purpose is to uplift our youth and community. Our purpose is to make sure that our children are literate, and to do it from a culturally affirming perspective. And where we address this through, we understand the traumas that our young people in our community are dealing with as a result of systemic racism. And so we understand that we move with a sense of purpose, a sense of understanding the challenges and the greatness of our community. So purpose is extremely, extremely important to us. And you can't plant a seed. You cannot, solve these problems or get ahead of things and create things without having purpose. So Nia, that purpose is super important. I'm going to talk about my favorite principle in a little bit, but I think Nia might be my second favorite, because that purpose is everything. Having an understanding as to how and why we move, and again, instilling that in our children. When we do this as a family, when you celebrate Kwanzaa as a family, and you talk about purpose with the babies, with the youth, and a purpose, as Jameer mentioned, that has to do with raising that child to be a whole individual, purpose of that child's place in the family, and the purpose of that child in his or her race, in our whole community at large. And you see that these principles, they intertwine. They all, it's almost like they, you talk about this one, but then it doubles back on the one that came before. And I think that continuity is so important. And it's just all the things that make this dope, our holiday, a really joyous occasion. Sorry, Jameer, I'm sending it right. I'm sending it on back to you.
Oh man, I was rusty. Okay, I got it back to you, but I'm gonna have to pass it back because this is your favorite one right here.
This is my favorite. Kuumba is my favorite. I don't get a lot of people saying Kuumba is their favorite, but I talk about Kuumba all through the year because creativity also is important. As a nonprofit founder with a sense of purpose, I understand that just take the year 2020, having to be creative, understanding that there is a mission that has to be fulfilled. And if you're not able to do it in the way in which you normally do it, you best get creative and figure out how to make it still happen. And so when we talk about Kuumba with our children, sitting down doing craft projects, sitting around talking about things that may have come up within the family that may have been challenging, and what are some creative ways that we can overcome those challenges, looking at things that we see that happen in our community and race, and how can we be creative, and looking back at our ancestors and the creativity that they used when they didn't have resources. But my goodness, if they did not figure out brilliant ways to make things happen. And all of that was all of our inventors, the creativity and ingenuity of all of them. So Kuumba is my favorite of the principles. So if you tune in to our show, the Virtual Village Show with Clever Communities in Action, you will hear me talk about Kuumba a lot. And you'll hear us reference these principles all throughout the year. But thanks for giving me that one, Jameer. That was my favorite. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about Kuumba?
I think you took it all, but
I got all of it. I squeezed it for everything it had. I hope so.
Absolutely. But
all right. So next up,
our final principle. So our seventh one, after creativity, we have Amani. So, which is faith. And Amani, and as you can see, we have the Ankh there. And faith is more so not, it's in a very holistic sense that encompasses having faith in yourself, having faith in all walks of life. And the reason why they ended on this is because having faith going into the new year is exceptionally important, because it sort of is the basis for what we want to see in the growth of anyone, really. Because as long as you have faith and you're able to turn that faith into works, which you will after having the creativity, after having the purpose, the cooperative economics, the unity, the self-determination, as well as just having the whole package with everyone. So especially that responsibility, Ujima, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So just having all of the faith with you, and as well as the 6 prior principles, we're able to go into the new year exceptionally well, exceptionally vibrant. We're able to just bring in something and continue the progress that we as a people have made, and also to continue the progress that you made, or the progress you want to see in 2020, which we'll definitely see in 2021. And Ms. Star, anything?
I mean, again, it's just how they are all intertwined, and like
Absolutely.
you said, they're layered. You look at these and you look at it personally as an individual. Then you build out to your family, and then you build out to your community, and then you look out to the Black community at large. And each one of these things, each one of these principles are applicable on each one of those levels. So you can't just attack it in one way. It's all of those layers. And it's just a wonderful lesson. Also, I think anybody who, I see a lot of times where people are wanting to instill cultural knowledge in their children and they may not know how or where to start. I think taking these Kwanzaa principles, and if you're able to celebrate right now during Kwanzaa time, wonderful. But if you happen to, stumble across it in June, I think this is a great introductory way to get that cultural grounding and to start putting that in your home and having your family grounded that way. These principles are a wonderful start. But we are going to have another word from our sponsors because we are a Black organization and this is an all Black production. And then we're going to bring back some guests after that to talk about their experiences with their first Kwanzaa, how they found out about Kwanzaa, when they first wonderful Kwanzaa experiences that they had. And then we are going to attack this Ujima because that is what we are here for. That is our principle of the day. So don't you guys go anywhere. We will be right back.
Smart kids make our world better. At Heavenly Hearts, we believe that the right foundation is key to our future leader success. With our 4 key learning principles, which are inclusive learning environment, early exposure to financial literacy, community engagement, science and technology with engineering, art, and math labs will enrich each one of our future leaders as well as the community they are part of. In these unprecedented times, the $59 billion childcare industry has been dramatically impacted by the pandemic. Heavenly Hearts has currently implemented several advanced health and safety precautions to protect our children and staff at our current licensed facility in Chesapeake, Virginia. Our new location will continue to use advanced technology to protect our children from this and future threats to their health and safety. As our mission is to educate, empower, and equip our students with the necessary foundation to be holistically successful throughout life, we invite you to get involved. As an investor or community partner, you can help in a variety of ways. Contact Serena Mang at 757-254-8156.
That's another Black-owned business to support. If you guys are in the Hampton Roads area, we are definitely, we do this all throughout the year, but definitely in the spirit of Kwanzaa, promoting the businesses in our community. And if you all would like to advertise with us, definitely contact us through clevercommunities.org and let us know, because we are all about highlighting these Black businesses, okay? That is super important that everybody knows that you exist, that you are here, and so that we can support you. And we definitely have some wonderful businesses in our area and beyond. This is virtual programming. So we have people tuning in from all around the country. And that is a beautiful thing. That is one of the things in 2020 that, we've definitely united with more people across the country probably than ever because the virtual programming. And so while in ways we feel less connected, there are ways in which we become more connected. It's been an interesting year, but right now we want to bring on our young guests, and then we are going to bring on our seasoned guests because this is an intergenerational, and by season, I mean the knowledge, like some accumulated knowledge that is there. We don't want, the more seasoned, we like seasoning in our food, right? So we got the mild seasoning, and then we're going to get the strong seasoning coming on here and cook it all up together. And it just keeps getting better and better at what we're bringing you guys. Okay. So right now, let's get some more of these HU students on here.
Absolutely. I'm going to do it for you. Here we go. Shameless plug. Okay, cool. So we got Jody, Joseph Sturgeon III. If you've seen 2050 and beyond, then you know who Jody is.
The sneak attack right there. That's the silent assassin.
It's in the bag.
He will drop that knowledge on you out of nowhere, so don't y'all sleep.
And then we have...
How are you doing, Joseph?
Oh, I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Doing well. And who is this we have here? Yes, yeah.
You're muted. You're muted.
My bad. My apologies. My name is Kenyatta Newby. I'm a HU24. I also go to Howard, and I'm a criminology major. So yes, this is my first time on CCIA. So yeah.
We are glad to have you. Beautiful smile, beautiful spirit radiating through here. So it's wonderful to have you here. And again, we are familiar with Joseph for 2020 and beyond. Kim Yada will be in on that show soon. So you guys got to check all of these young people out tomorrow at 7 p.m. on Clever Communities in Action, YouTube, Facebook, and the website. All right. So definitely check that out. But let's get back to this wonderful Kwanzaa thing, okay? Before we bring on our elders, because this is an intergenerational conversation. Before we bring on that heaping helping of knowledge that we are about to get into. So let's talk about Kwanzaa. I want to know from Kim Yada, how did you find out about Kwanzaa? How old were you? How did you find out about it?
When I first started like celebrating it, it was actually about 4 years ago. My dad wanted to do something different than what pagan holidays. He didn't want to do that anymore. He wanted to find a way we can connect more with Black people and as a community and stuff. So he did his research, and then him and my mom talked about it. And ultimately, a few years ago, we started celebrating it more, and it's been really nice. I learned about it personally back in middle school because I was in a minority at my school as a black person. Everybody's just like, "Oh, have you heard about this?" and stuff like that. And I had a Black teacher who talked to me about it, and I was like, "Cool." So yeah, we didn't start celebrating though till like about 4 years ago. So it's a nice experience though.
Excellent, and shout out to Dad for getting you guys on that. Wonderful. So let's move on over here to Joseph. How old were you when you found out about Kwanzaa? And how long have you been celebrating it?
I don't necessarily know how young I was when I learned about Kwanzaa, but I do remember learning about it in elementary school because back when I was in elementary school, basically we had these different things that they like to call specials, which is like you would go to PE, then you would go to music, then you would go to what we called library as a special. Like it was actually the name for it. And the librarian, the school librarian, she was going over all of the different winter holidays, and she actually had mentioned Kwanzaa, which was wild, like to think of at that school because there were not too many Black kids at that little elementary school. So, it's kind of like you're only speaking to 1 to 2 people when you're like mentioning that. But my family actually does not celebrate Kwanzaa. I've been trying to get my mom to for the past couple of years, but she is not budging about it. So hopefully, I can pick some things up and try to like convince her from now on because I want to celebrate it. I like the concept of Kwanzaa.
It's a process, the change for people, and the fact that a lot of times people it's been ingrained in people that it's anti Christmas. There's a lot of stigmas around it, and so it's a process. And if you can get mom to come around, great. But if not, you got new friends and people who celebrated along with you. So that's how it is sometimes. Do what you do with your family, and do the other things you do with the family that you create. And that's how life goes. But the fact that you guys are saying elementary school is interesting because you're gonna laugh when we get around to mine. So next we will go to Jameer. About how old were you when you found out about Kwanzaa, and does your family celebrate it?
I had to be like either late elementary school or like early middle school, like either 4th grade or 6th grade. I can't remember. That's why Jody's like the historian. My memory's not that good. And that was my first time like learning about it. And it was like, I remember seeing it on TV, and they made a joke about how like no one knows what Kwanzaa was, which led me to like look it up. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. So this is like a cultural celebration for Black people. Got it. And that's how I became familiar with it. And then
this was late elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you went and looked it up. Shout out to Johnny for that. Okay.
And then after that, it was just learning about it passively. But this will be our first year actively celebrating Kwanzaa with the Kanara and all of the candles. So yeah, so.
How is that going? Is it fun?
Yeah, it is, especially just like when we do the reflections with my brother and sister, hearing like what their goals are for practicing in 2021. Nasir's goal is to play a lot more.
And how old is Nasir?
Nasir is 4, and Naya, she wants to start a recycling organization to, save the earth and make us all unified. So just it's going pretty well.
That's important. And I think what Naya said is dope because a lot of times out here, Black people, kind of push that aside, but we all live on the earth and we need to respect, the earth and nature and all these things that are here that keep us alive. So that is good. That's valuable. That's important. So in the chat, everybody tuned in, let us know, drop a comment like how old were you when you found out about Kwanzaa? If you don't want to say your age, were you an adult? Were you in elementary school, middle school? Was it recently, a couple of years ago? And are you celebrating it now? Let us know. Drop those comments in the chat. And for me, I was old when I found out about it. I was good and grown. And let me say this, I'd heard of it. I've heard of it, but I never did anything about it. And my cousin, actually, I was living in Atlanta at the time, and she was friends with a family. And they would have pre-COVID days, they would have a Kwanzaa celebration that was pretty much like open. If you knew them and you brought somebody with you, it was just open and people would come in and it was just the most friendly atmosphere. And I was introduced to the principals and I was introduced to the pouring of the libations and us, paying homage, reverence to our ancestors. Absolutely. And going through these principles and reflecting and the vibe in there. It was just so positive, and it was in their family room, and it spilled all around to the kitchen and the living room and outside, and it was just, and that Georgia weather, that southern weather. I think during that time we might have caught a decent temperature during the holiday season, and it was just great. And ever since then, I have always made a point to celebrate it, to post about it during on social media, and yeah, that's how I found out about it. But I was good and grown. So you all finding out about it in elementary school, I think is really great. And it also speaks to the fact that a lot of times when we think our youth are not listening, when we talk about the importance of planting seeds, they hear something. Jameer said he went and researched it. And then sometimes maybe it's something that they hear and later on in life it sticks. So let's keep planting all these seeds, these principles, right, into our young people. So I think that one is really, really great. So now we are going to get into the whole concept of our principle of the day, Ujima, collective works and responsibility. So let's bring on Sister Alfreda and Brother Ike now.
Absolutely.
Hey, can you say
there they are. How are you all doing?
Greetings, greetings.
Good to see you. So glad to have you all here. So again, we are in the Hampton Roads area, and this couple are near and dear to our hearts. Do a lot of wonderful cultural things in the community. Are looked up to by a lot of people, and so we're glad to have you all here. And y'all have been doing Kwanzaa for quite a while, right?
Correct. Yes, we have. You want to explain?
Yeah. So tell us about. Wait a minute. I want to grab a comment here. A comment here. We have Dominic who said, I was in elementary when my mama told me a story about it, and I thought it was very cool, but never celebrated until this year. I'm still learning, but I'm having fun. I love that, Dominic. I love that your mom told you a story about it, and this is your first time celebrating. I'm glad you're having fun because it is a fun time. I think it pulls at our emotions in a positive way. Because there's so much positivity flowing and we do have fun with it, whatever the age is. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Definitely, Dominic. And anybody else in the chat, if you guys want to let us know, like how long ago was it when you learned about Kwanzaa? Are you celebrating? Do you plan on celebrating? Let us know because we want to interact with you. So tell us, you guys, Sister Alfreda and Brother Ike, y'all have been celebrating Kwanzaa for a while. What are some of the best memories that you have of your Kwanzaa celebrations?
I tell you, I feel real good about. I was one of the major producers of Canaras.
Oh,
and a lot of people are unaware of that, but myself and Brother Karinga and all of us, we belongs to the same organization. And but to get back to the Canaras, what happened was they had you remember when they had the embargo in Hades?
Jameer, you know about that?
Yes, ma'am. U.S.
Yeah, they had the they stopped. What happened? We couldn't receive nothing from Hades. They had the embargo. But what happened? I started doing the Canaras then, and we on the East Coast was major contributors to the Canara.
That's a beautiful thing because one, they're not easy to find. Two, the craftsmanship is not all created equally. You may go somewhere and get one that is not as sturdy, or not as beautiful. And I have seen some that are ornate, and some that a lot of craftsmanship was put into it because it's a beautiful display. We all love a lot of people love the Christmas display that happens, but the Kwanzaa display is beautiful as well. And again, these are not rivals. They're not rivals. They're two separate things. But the Kwanzaa display is beautiful, and each one of the things have a meaning, and they are resourceful. They are things that represent life and culture and community. So to know, thank you for sharing that with us. I was not aware of that. Let me ask you, as a couple, do you all have a favorite principle?
Yes.
Yeah, mine is Kuumba. Yes, creativity.
That's two for Kuumba. I don't know if you heard, Brother Ike, but that's my favorite one as well. I didn't know.
I heard.
I love Kuumba.
Yeah,
I'm about that kind of life.
We did the 13th annual Kwanzaa over at the center, the aquatic center over here. And this is a picture of Ike and I. Can you see the picture?
Hold it up a little bit.
How about now? I'm trying to, might be the
and
light.
Move it in the other direction. Okay. Yes.
This way?
The other way.
Other way.
This way, over this way.
Move it towards Mr. Alfreda. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you all are welcome to stop by the museum and check all our things out. But we had an awesome one, and this was Ujima, the cooperative economics, and the youth really enjoyed it. And we do celebrate Kwanzaa. I have my table set up and everything, and it's phenomenal because a lot of people don't know about it. They don't like to discuss it, but we love it.
Absolutely.
And excellent. And we appreciate the work that you all have done. Now let's dive into Ujima. Today's principle is Ujima, and that is collective work and responsibility. So we all know that we are in a culture that values individualism, that says you are supposed to focus on yourself. That is not teaching us to be interconnected. It's all about that dollar. It's all cash flow. It was cash rules everything around me. To now, it's what are the sayings? Anyway, it's always going to be something that is promoting capitalism and saying get the money, and that's what's more important. We're securing the bag. It's all about that. All right. Well, collective work and responsibility is what we are talking about as a community, as Black people. So I would like to ask. I want to start with. Kenyatta, because you're here for the first time. I'm just meeting you, so I'm putting you on the spot a little bit. I know you can handle it. What are some ways that you feel that collective work and responsibility, where you saw it being practiced with your self and or your family and community?
Okay, all right. Okay. So the collective work and responsibility is usually a sense of unity within people to help each other out, helping with passing down information or education, providing resources like that, working together within my own community or especially with my family. I get a lot of information and education passed out from my parents, of course, and I pass it out to my little siblings. Or I used to mentor children at my nearby schools. I don't live in the city I used to anymore, but I used to do a lot more mentoring and stuff like that, especially with the Black students, because a lot of them kind of like pushed aside or like not talked to enough from educators. So I would take time out of my day or like during like my breaks, so like that you could be that mentor education. I feel like that's like the collective responsibility, collective work to connect as a unity, as a community, is to maintain community within Black people. So I feel like a big part for me is education. I'm broke, so I can't, I help with money when I can, but if I can help with education and stuff, that's what I try to do. So.
That's extremely valuable because it's not all about the money. There are so many things that are important that extend beyond that. So that is beautiful. I'm going to grab this comment. We're going to double back a little bit. And Sister Brenica says she is in Hampton Roads now, and she's from the Bay Area, where she led the celebration with her granddaughter, and she's looking for a community here. She's reaching out. Welcome to our virtual village, sis. Continue to convene with us here. We are glad. We are very glad to have you. And also you are in, you have some kinship here because Kenyatta is from Oakland. So you guys are from the same area. So glad to see that connection. And link with us. Send us a message and also tune into our programs, and we'll let you know about what we have going on. And you definitely have community here. Thank you for sharing that with us. That's beautiful. And I just, I get excited about the Bay Area because of the Panthers and the origin of the Panthers, because I'm just a little stan for for the Black Panther Party and what they contributed to our community and to the society at large. So let's move on here to Joseph and tell us the Habari Gani. What's the word?
Ujima.
Ujima. So tell us about some ways in which you've seen where you may have personally practiced collective work and responsibility, or ways in which you've seen your family, community, your immediate community and surroundings practice this principle.
I think that you see the principle of Ujima in the home every day, because a ship can't sail without a navigator, without a sailor, without a crew. So I'm going to make it very simplistic. Like, let's say you're just cleaning the house. Like, that entire task isn't going to be taken up by one person. I mean, dependent on like your family dynamics, it may be. But how it should be is, like one person helps wash the dishes, one person, sweeps the floor, one person like cleans off the counters. Like, no, that's a team effort. It's a communal responsibility, and it can't and shouldn't be done by one person because, like we all share a space. Not a singular person does. Not a single person is responsible for, like a space that is shared. And I think that it also just translates to the larger world. Like, a society can't function if not every single person does their part. And no one person or like just person with a certain title should be valued over another, because when one component is missing, then, like the entire function of the entire process, it, kind of breaks down. So yeah, Ujima is seen every day, not only in the home, not only in like team sports, but even in larger society, the economy, the global economy. It's Ujima. It's communal responsibility every day.
Mm-hmm.
Ujima is happening around us and we don't even know it, right? So many of us are practicing Ujima and we don't realize that we are practicing Ujima. So thank you for making that plain, like Brother Malcolm said. And you are from the home state, the city and state of Brother Malcolm. So of course you know how to make it plain. So that was wonderful. I appreciate that. And then we're going to go on over here to Jaimir. So tell us about some ways in which you personally or your family or your community, your immediate community and surroundings have practiced collective work and responsibility. How have you seen that? And in the chat, you guys can let us know as well, because we are interactive here. We want to hear from you. Thank you for tuning in, but we also want to hear from you guys as well. So let us know. But Jaimir, tell us about it. Run it down.
Oh man, that's gonna be hard following them two, but I'll try. I'll try. Um, we talk about collective works and responsibility, I definitely have to mention my CCIA family, because when everyone was sent into the virtual sphere and the virtual medium, a lot of people, show enough. But a lot of people felt like there was just a stalling and we didn't know where we would go. And Miss Starr and Mr. Jordan, they came on Facebook and they was doing like 2 shows every day to get the kids reading. And that's a throwback because a lot of people don't know y'all had 2 shows going. But I would think so that right there, and then having you guys come in and take on the virtual village influencers. So 6 high school students making us or molding us into sort of virtual community activists in a sense, and letting us have that healthy space. Definitely was another piece because it allowed me to actually come on and actually work in my community and expand upon that. And now we're here in this setting. So that right there is the immediate virtual village family and community. Um, to take it off of what Jody said and sort of build off what Kimmy said, is that I saw a lot of collective works, and especially the responsibility aspect over the summer at large, and even still today during these several protests about state-sanctioned violence, especially with the murder of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd. I know Chesapeake definitely showed out. I was at several Norfolk protests, and it wasn't just a like a 757 thing. It was a national thing where Black people everywhere were marching in the streets. But not only were we marching, we were actually advocating and demanding for ourselves about what we wanted to see within the country. And it sort of transcended the national boundaries because we saw Black people from all over the globe. I know the African Union signed a paper together issuing the UN to actually demand the United States answer for their crimes against Black people. And there were several other protests within the West Indies as well, and Brazil. And we just understand that so this year has definitely just been a collective work of Black people coming together, because we all understand that there's a unity and a responsibility we have to be our brother and sister's keeper in a sense. So that's how I witnessed it, and I practiced it in part this year, just being a part of the team, helping out in whatever way I can, and still hoping to do that and keep it strong coming into 2021 and beyond.
Beautiful, beautiful, and definitely you all as Virtual Village 2020 influencers, and now you, Jameer, with your show, and getting to meet Joseph and all of the other wonderful young people who you bring on. We love you all dearly, and what you all have contributed, your collective works, and the responsibility that you all took on at a young age. And during, you guys came on when schools were shut down. And for you and Kalia and Q, you were seniors and there was a lot of uncertainty going on, and you took on the responsibility and you took it on like champs. You all have done a wonderful job and you continue to do it. We're so proud of you and we love you all dearly. So yes, those were wonderful examples. For me, because I'm going to go to the Greens, I'm going to let them answer. I'm going to let them have the final answer on this, not the final answer of the night, but on this question, because we're still moving. But for me, I would say I saw collective works and responsibility the minute the schools were deemed to be shut down. I know that I wasn't really paying the COVID stuff that much attention. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But when they said they were shutting the schools down, I'm like, I know a lot of our children rely on school to eat. You know, the educational aspect is important, but at that point, we were still thinking that within a week or two, the schools would probably come back open. But I'm like, our children need to eat. Our children rely on school for a lot of different reasons. And people began to just come together with all of these ways in which we could get food to our children, ways in which, like, hey, we can do food this way. So before the schools caught up and figured out ways to do it, the community already started jumping in to find ways to fill in those gaps. And I thought that was beautiful. And as you said, Jameer, also with Clever Communities in Action, we had to get in action with that Kuumba, word to Brother Ike, and get creative and make sure that we found a way to make community still happen, where people could come and convene and feel safe, not feel isolated in a Black space, and also promote literacy and build community at the same time. So that's one way that I saw it. And then, as you said, Jameer, all the protests that happened and the collective work and the responsibility that came as a result of that. So I'm going to pass this down to the Greens and ask you all the same question. And again, if you all are in the chat, feel free to share with us. We encourage you to share with us, how have you seen collective works, Ujima, collective work and responsibility practiced in 2020? So the Greens, you all have it. Tell us about it.
I listen. What I would like to say is that I really appreciate you, all of you, and
Thank you.
And I say that because what you are doing, you are teaching, and to teach once is to learn twice. You follow me? Yeah. So but I wanted to say that I appreciate you, and I've enjoyed so far as the program is concerned. It was just nice. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you. We are enjoying your presence here. We are so glad to have you all, because again, if you guys are not in the 757, you may not know, but they are pillars in this cultural movement, this cultural space in our community. So we are so glad to have them. So now we want to talk about ways in which we can utilize these principles. And we'll focus right now on this particular principle in 2021. When we talk about collective work and responsibility, what are some ways that you plan to make that be in action? Again, we are Clever Communities in Action. So how are you going to enact Ujima, collective work and responsibility, as we move into 2021? All right. So let's go on over here to the silent assassin, the one who sneaks up on you and attacks you when you are not ready with all that knowledge. That is Joseph. Let us know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was muted there for a second. Jaimir, did you think I was frozen?
Said it right.
So a few ways that I personally want to practice Ujima coming into this next year of 2021 is to first start within the family, you know, just by being more involved and better like brother, because I have 3 little siblings that I live with. They're like 14, 12, and 11 right now. Their names Samira, Malachi, and Kamani. And really, I just know going through the virtual space at school right now, they've been like struggling, especially like my little brothers, because it's not as easy navigating this virtual online thing as like it is when you're in a physical space, and that like your education can get a lot harder. And I know that Jaimir actually pointed out one day when I was talking to him that there was an elementary school where the students are seeing a 300% regression rate ever since the transition into like virtual schooling. So seeing as the workload has kind of dropped at Howard, and like we have much longer breaks than they do there, like I'm trying to commit this time to, you know, like spend more time with them and like actually commit to their learning with them, because throughout like high school especially, like I was a very individualistic person, because, you know, it's all about, you know, getting into college, getting into Howard, you know, like making sure you have all your scholarships. But I have a lot more free time now, and I like feel a responsibility to be there for my siblings, especially now that we're in a pandemic. So that's one way that I'll try.
And that's beautiful. You all are wise beyond your years, and at such a young age already thinking of being selfless. And then we have Fontaine Farabee John said, following through on all community commitments. Wonderful. The community aspect, that community. Yes, that is a great one. Thank you for sharing that with us. I love it. I love it. And thank you for that, Joseph. That's very thoughtful and it's very important. Like Brother Ike said, what did he say? If you teach once, then you learn twice. So you learning. A friend was joking me the other day because I said thrice. So you will be learning thrice. So that is excellent. That is excellent. So we're going to come down here to Sister Kim Yada and let us know, as we move into 2021, how are you enacting this collective works and responsibility, young lady?
Well, right now I'm living with my older sister in Oakland. But hopefully going farther into 2021, I'll be in DC, near my the illustrious Howard University. But hopefully with that, I'll be able to be more involved with the community and especially join more clubs. This semester, I was not involved that much because, like Joseph said, high school is a little individualistic. As many clubs as I was in, it was more of just like I need my college applications to look good. But going to Howard and stuff, and for this next semester, I want to be able to involve myself a bit more and connect with other students and see whatever resources and stuff I can provide for people. Use my experiences I've had out here, like from joining different organizations to organizing protests and a bunch of other things, and bringing it to DC and connecting with their community, not kind of like diving head first, but understanding the community, see what I can do, and understanding Howard and stuff, and see what I can do. And yeah, I want to be able to like involve myself correctly. So.
Excellent. That is great. That's a wonderful goal. And I'm sure that you will achieve that. You guys are hanging in there and just doing a wonderful job amidst all these changes. And again, we're very proud of you all for that. So keep up that wonderful work and keep us posted on how that goes. Because once you come here, you are not a stranger. Okay. You are in this family. Okay. Let's see. Miss Powell says, yes, Joseph, it takes a village. That means we are lifting our family members too. Yes, important to reinforce that because sometimes in the process of saving the community, being not saving the community, but being involved in our community and doing the community work, we may sometimes neglect the people, our loved ones who are closest to us. So that's a great point that Joseph made, and then coming back and reinforcing that. So thank you for that. So we're gonna go on here to the host with the most. Brother Jameer, tell us about 2021 and you in this Ujima. What is going on?
Oh man. So in 2021, we'll be coming into 2021 with 2050 and beyond still.
And what is
So
2050 and beyond for people who are just tuning in?
There we go. All right. It is our weekly, I say our because it's not just a me thing, it's an HBCU student thing with a Howard focus for now. So it's a Bison thing, but it's an HBCU roundtable of sorts where every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we all come in and we just discuss several different subjects. Last week, we discussed Black electoral politics. This week, so tomorrow, we'll be discussing Pan-Africanism, and it'll probably be one of, I'm interested to see where we go with that one.
But tell them about this. So on Tuesday, you all honor an Africana revolutionary. Absolutely. And you break that down, and then you go into the topic. And then on Thursday, you go back and dissect the topic. And on Thursday, you all come up with solutions. You come up with things that can be done. And then you also highlight an HBCU on Thursdays. So it's a lot going on there. And these young people have a lot to say. And it's a lot of critical thinking, analysis, and knowledge that is coming from them. So we recommend that you guys tune into that on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. And you can find that on clevercommunities.org or Clever Communities in Action on Facebook and YouTube. As a matter of fact, I must say, make sure that you subscribe to us on YouTube and like us on Facebook, okay? Because these young people are getting it. They are getting it. I mean, it's intergenerational, the people who tune in. We have, from the youngest to the oldest in age ranges. And so many people are saying that they're learning a lot from you guys. And I just really appreciate that. And I love the cohesiveness across generations. So go ahead. And our time is nearing. So go ahead and let us know about 2021 and you in this Ujima.
Got you. And aside from 2050 and beyond, just looking to sort of like what Solomon Grayson said in one of our first shows, was just that we should definitely give back and let our underclassmates know about HBCUs in a sense, because I know I can't speak for everyone, but I know I'm exceptionally happy about going to Howard and being a part of the Howard community. So making sure that I connect back with Great Bridge Middle School and high school and let the the Black kids there know that like an HBCU is definitely where it's a great space to be, whether it be Norfolk State or Hampton Institute or Virginia State, just anywhere. And I definitely think that So definitely trying to give back to my people at my high school. And aside from that, just working closely with CCIA and seeing what else we can get into and whatever else I can get into when it comes to Howard University, and a couple other things I got going on, like the APRP, just working there and just being an active member of my community.
Wonderful. That is all great. That is wonderful. And I know you stay active all the time, and looking forward to all the great things that you're going to do, and definitely what you will continue to bring to Clever Communities in Action. Joseph, I know why you did that. I think it was a slip. I don't think that was a slight. I don't think he did that on purpose. If Mr. Jordan was here, he'd be angry. When you said Hampton Institute.
Oh, because like you said, on 2050 and beyond, we pay homage to where we come from and, you know, where we plan on going. So definitely remembering that Hampton University used to be Hampton Institute. And, you know, that's just, you know, that's a little bit of a deep cut because a lot of people might not know that.
Just like Tuskegee, my grandfather's alma mater. So yeah, so for me, you know, with the collective work and responsibility, I want to, of course, we have even more goals with the virtual village and the work that we're doing around literacy and culture and community, but also pushing the responsibility that we have for our children. During this time, as you all have mentioned, with school during COVID, where children are feeling isolated, where learning, children are being forced to learn differently, a lot of lack of resources that were there before, and it's just being amplified now. So understanding that we have a responsibility to our children when it comes to their education, when it comes to them holistically. Also, Jameer and I were discussing this earlier when it comes to our elders. A lot of times, and I mean like our elders, like where they may feel isolated because technology is not their normal mode of communication. So finding ways to make sure that they feel connected, that they feel valued, that they know they are important to this village that we have going on, and maybe even taking the time to help them learn how to use the technology and become acclimated so that we can stay in touch with them. Because from the babies, you know, to the oldest of our elders, everything matters, and so many people have, everybody has a lot to contribute. So those are things that, you know, we'll continue to push. But this literacy movement, this virtual village movement, listen, if you have been on board this train, the ride is just about to get even better. Our virtual village show is coming back on February the 1st. Jameer Show 2050 and Beyond is still moving. So hop on board this Clever Communities in Action train, because it's going to be great. Okay. So that is our collective work and responsibility that we are doing right now. That's what's going down in 2021. Okay. So make sure you guys stay along for the ride. So before we close out, we do have to pay homage to our ancestors. This is a part of Kwanzaa as well. There is the pouring of the libations that you do with the unity cup. And we call out our ancestors. And after we call out our ancestors, we say Ashe, Ashe, which is akin to saying amen or so be it. And so we right now are going to call out our ancestors. And when this is done communally, people just call out names. So whether it be a loved one, whether it be a historic figure. And if you are in the chat right now, just type in an ancestor. Again, whether it's a historic figure who you admire the work that they have done, or whether it is somebody who is near and dear to you. So I'm going to start out, and I'm going to start with Ruth Marie Paulden, who is my beloved granny, who taught me to read at 3 years young, and has so much to do with who I am. So Ruth Marie Paulden, and we're going to move on. Y'all just call out your ancestors right now. So I said it, y'all say Ashe. Jameer?
Oh, late. Okay. Inertia Brown and Cyrus Hudson.
Ashe. Joseph?
Jody?
Ashe. Malcolm
Ashe.
Ashe.
The Green.
Somebody in the bottom row.
Let's see. Are they muted? Let's unmute them. So brother and sister Alfreda and Ike, who are y'all?
Okay. All right, my mother and father,
Ashe.
Samuel and Beulah
Ashe.
Fields.
Brother Ike.
Thank you.
Yes,
Ashe.
Verna Green,
Mm-hmm.
And Kim Yada.
Okay.
Ashe.
Marcus Godley,
Fred
Ashe.
Hampton.
Ashe.
Kimyada.
Okay, yeah.
Gregory Hopkins and Joyce. Yeah, that's the one just here.
Ashe.
John
We have
Lewis.
Margaret again, who she says Malcolm X important. Ashe. Definitely. Fannie Lou Hamer.
Ashe.
Yeah. Ashe.
DB Armstrong.
Say.
Ashe.
John Lewis.
Ashe.
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 Chadwick Boseman.
Reginald F. Lewis.
Okay.
Ashe.
Ashe. So yes, this part is definitely, and we do this every night. We have Roxy Robinson and Milton Wingate. Ashe. So this is very important when we are doing the Kwanzaa celebration and we get together and say this as a family. And you know, if you have those drums at the celebrations beating in the background, that African drum while we are doing this, and you get to feel that feeling, and it's almost like these powerful people who came before us, and we're standing on their shoulders, and we call out their names, and we understand that they paved a way for us that you know, allows us to be on this path and be on this journey. So it's powerful, and that is a part of that Kwanzaa celebration. So make sure each night that you guys are paying homage. Dominic Johnson said his great grandparents. Ashe. Definitely. Fontaine Farabee John says Georgia Askew. Ashe. Yes. So we definitely appreciate that ancestry, those people again, that Black power that you know undergirds how we move every day. So I definitely appreciate you all sharing that with us. What happened to let's see what happened here. Did we
Backstage.
Here they are. Okay. All right. So we didn't mean for you guys to leave. I don't know what happened with that. But I will say that this has been a wonderful discussion about Kwanzaa, and definitely we want to understand. I hope anybody who tuned in that you guys got a better understanding of what Kwanzaa is, that you understand that it does not compete with Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas, you still can celebrate Kwanzaa. This is about culture. It has nothing to do with religion. It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of information that we get from it, and it really has to do with family, cohesiveness, celebrating Blackness. Like I said, if you are somebody who is like, I want to help get my children and my family more grounded in my culture, Kwanzaa, like I said, if you find it in May, if you find it in July, these elements here and what is laid out for this holiday, it is a wonderful way for you to get that cultural grounding. It's a great start. And also, let's see, we have another elder here. We definitely want to pay respect and homage. Teresa says, Jeanette Santos, Ashe. Definitely. Thank you for sharing that. So this is a wonderful way to do that, to get that cultural grounding. And it's a wonderful time. I always look forward to Kwanzaa. So we hope that if you weren't celebrating it, perhaps we were able to convince you to start celebrating it. And here's the thing too, if you don't have a Kanara, that is where that Kuumba comes in. But I know with little ones before, I have gone online and we printed them out and they have colored them. We have taken the toilet paper rolls and made candles from that, and taken the little paper that you put inside of a gift bag, you know, the little tissue that goes in there, and we took yellow and put that in the middle and made that the light for our candles. Listen, where there is a will, there is a way. They definitely enjoyed it. So, you know, do not let, if you don't have the formal setting, do not let that deter you, okay? Because that's not what it is about, okay? So before we get out here, you know, the call to action that we have for you guys is to make sure that you learn each one of these principles, that throughout the year, not just in December 26th through January the 1st, that you talk about Kwanzaa, that all throughout the year, you are practicing each and every one of these principles. And all this time right here is supposed to be is when we come together and report back how we utilize these principles and how we will use them going forward. So we expect to hear, if you're a part of our virtual village, which you are welcome to, when we're doing what we do, drop those principles in there throughout the year. Be like, oh, that took a lot of Imani right there. Or that's the Ujima, the way y'all pulled that together. So definitely utilize this all throughout the year. And our other call to action is making sure that we support Black businesses and Black nonprofit organizations. that focus on the Black community, such as Clever Communities in Action and the Reginald F. Lewis Museum, that you know about these entities, these businesses, and nonprofit organizations. Support, 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 and support. If you would like to know more about us, you can find out about us from clevercommunities.org. If you would like to advertise with us, you can go there as well. And the Reginald F. Lewis Museum, go to their website and their Facebook page. Support, support, support. This has been wonderful. We appreciate you all tuning in. Those are our calls to action, okay? And that utilize these principles all throughout the year and support Black-owned businesses and Black organizations that focus on improving the Black community. Beautiful young people. Before we close this out, do y'all have anything that y'all want to share?
Well, thank you for having me on, as you wanted. I appreciate it greatly. This was a great opportunity, and I will stay in touch. So thank you.
Wonderful. It has been our pleasure, and you better stay in touch. I'm not going to let you go anywhere. What about you, Joseph?
It was definitely a pleasure. Like being on here and discussing Kwanzaa with you all. So it was very fun. It was very fun.
Great, great. Definitely glad to have you. It's always a pleasure. And again, our host with the most, take us on out of here.
Well, we hope that you enjoyed yourself. I know that I did, just being able to fellowship with everyone, Miss Starr, Kimmy, Jody, the Greens, as well as Miss Terry coming in. And thank you for just allowing your Kwanzaa experience to go a little bit virtual. It's been great. Practicing a little bit of Kuumba today, and I just can't wait to see what happens. Thank you, Miss Teresa, for fellowship with us tonight. And I'm just happy to see how we just continue going into the new year.
Excellent. And feel free, you all, to share with us. If you do go on to celebrate Kwanzaa now, let us know. Send us a line, drop it on our wall, on our page, or send us a message and let us know you are officially initiated into this virtual village family, okay? You are a part of this family and you can't escape it, all right? So we are glad that you all are inducted into the virtual village family. So again, happy Kwanzaa, you all. We still have a few more days left of the official Kwanzaa time, but we are enacting these principles all throughout 2021. And y'all, we made it. It's been quite a year, but we are here and we are here together, and nobody else better to be here with than you all. So thank you so much. You all have a wonderful night, and it's Kwanzaa time, y'all. Let's celebrate. Let's get it in. Jameer, take us on out.
I got you. You guys have a great night.